Imagine two people. One earns $10,000 every month. The other earns only $4,000. Who do you think will become richer? Most people answer immediately, the one making $10,000. But what if I told you that the second person could become dramatically wealthier over the next 20 years? Not because they work harder, not because they were luckier, and not because they found some secret investment, but because they understood one rule. A rule that most people never learn. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to get richer every year, even during recessions, while others work harder than ever but never seem to get ahead, you're asking the right question. The answer has almost nothing to do with intelligence, and far less to do with salary than most people think. Today, we're pulling back the curtain, not on the rich themselves, but on the system they understand. Because once you understand it, you stop asking, how can I earn more money? And you start asking a far more powerful question. What can I own? That single question has created fortunes. And before this video ends, it may completely change the way you think about money forever. For decades, we've been trained to recognize wealth by what people buy. But that's the first illusion, because appearances can be purchased. Wealth cannot. Imagine these two people. The first earns a very high salary. Every month, almost every dollar goes toward car payments, a mortgage, luxury vacations, and an expensive lifestyle. The second earns less, lives below their means, and quietly spends years buying small pieces of businesses, stocks, rental properties, and other productive assets. To the outside world, the first person looks richer. But appearances don't pay bills. Ownership does. Real wealth is like a tree. Most people admire the branches. Very few notice the roots. The branches are the lifestyle everyone sees. The roots are the assets nobody notices. And without strong roots, even the biggest tree eventually falls. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If your income stops the moment you stop working, you may have a good income, but you haven't built lasting wealth. Almost everyone spends their life chasing money. The wealthy spend their life building things that chase money for them. And that single difference changes everything. Because earning money and building wealth are not the same game. Think about it. If someone handed you $1 million today, but you spent all of it, would you still be rich 10 years from now? Probably not. Now imagine someone who owns businesses, shares in successful companies, or assets that keep producing income year after year. They might never hold $1 million in cash, yet they're becoming wealthier every single day. Because wealth isn't measured by how much money passes through your hands. It's measured by what continues working for you after the money arrives. That's the difference. The real question isn't, how much do you earn? The real question is, what do you own? Because ownership changes everything. And that's where our story begins. Imagine you own just one apple tree. Every year, it gives you apples. You can eat some, sell some, or plant new seeds to grow even more trees. Now imagine owning an entire orchard. You no longer depend on finding apples every day. You own the source. That's how businesses work. That's how investments work. That's how ownership works. The goal isn't to collect more apples. The goal is to own more apple trees. Working for money is like running on a treadmill. The moment you stop, the movement stops. Ownership is different. It's like building a water wheel in a flowing river. It keeps turning long after the builder has gone home. That's why owners can earn while they're sleeping. Not because money appears from nowhere, but because the systems they own continue creating value for others. This doesn't mean everyone should quit their job tomorrow. A job is often the first step. It provides skills, experience, income. The mistake is believing the job is the final destination. For many wealthy people, their salary wasn't the finish line. It was the fuel they used to buy ownership. The world's greatest fortunes were not built by owning more money. They were built by owning more value. The wealthy don't see money as a trophy. They see it as a worker. Every dollar has a job, and the best employees never sleep. Instead of asking, "What can I buy?" they ask, "What can my money buy that will keep earning more money?" That's the difference. That's how many wealthy people think about money. This brings us to one of the most important words in finance: an asset. An asset is something that puts value back into your life. Sometimes through income, sometimes through growth, sometimes through both. A business that earns profits, a share of a successful company, a rental property, a useful invention, a productive farm, a piece of software people pay to use. These are more than possessions. They're money machines. Then there are things that mostly take money away. Monthly payments, maintenance, constant expenses, things that lose value while demanding more from your wallet. Buying them isn't always wrong. We all need homes, transportation, and things we enjoy. The real question is, which comes first? The machine that earns money, or the lifestyle that spends it? The wealthy often build the machine first, then let the machine pay for the lifestyle. Many people do the opposite. Now something remarkable happens. Imagine your first asset earns enough to help you buy a second. The second helps you buy a third. The third helps you buy a fourth. Suddenly, your money isn't growing because you're working longer hours. It's growing because your assets are helping create new assets. This is the beginning of compound growth. Not magic, not luck. Simply growth building upon previous growth, like a snowball rolling downhill. It starts almost too small to notice, but over time, it becomes powerful enough to reshape an entire mountain. This is why patience is one of the greatest financial advantages. People often overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year, but underestimate what disciplined ownership can achieve in 20. The first years feel slow, sometimes painfully slow. Then one day, the system you've been building begins helping build itself. That's when momentum takes over. From the outside, it looks like someone became rich overnight, but you're only seeing the harvest. You didn't see the years spent planting the seeds. Because wealth rarely arrives like an explosion. More often, it grows like a forest, quietly, patiently, one tree at a time. The richest people don't own the most money. They own the most productive assets. If wealth were only about hard work, the hardest workers would all be rich. But they aren't, because effort creates income. Ownership creates momentum. Wealth doesn't change lives overnight. It compounds through small decisions. One investment, one business, one opportunity. Again and again, time rewards consistency. The wealthy aren't moving faster. They're moving with the current. A profitable business earns capital. That capital buys assets. Those assets generate more income. The cycle repeats. Each turn gets easier. Think of a flywheel. The first push feels useless. The next one barely matters. But after enough pushes, it starts turning on its own. Wealth works the same way. The beginning takes effort. Momentum changes everything. From the outside, it looks like sudden success. From the inside, it was years of invisible progress. People envy the outcome without seeing the process. The gap between rich and poor widens because time multiplies what each person owns. Income pays today's bills. Ownership builds tomorrow's freedom, and time decides which one grows faster. So the real question isn't, why do the rich keep getting richer? It's, what do they own that keeps growing without them? When you answer that, you stop chasing money and start building wealth. The rich aren't a different species. They don't have more hours. They just understand one principle. Income pays for today. Ownership builds tomorrow. Every paycheck gives you a choice. Spend it all, or invest part of it in your future. The choice seems small, until years pass. Then small choices become big results. You don't need to own everything. Just start owning something. One share, one skill, one business, one asset that keeps creating value after the day ends. Wealth isn't built in one moment. It's built one decision at a time. Again and again. The question was never, why do the rich keep getting richer? Now you know, They don't just earn money. They build things that earn money. And once you understand that, you'll never look at wealth the same way again. Don't work only for money. Build things that work for you. This is NineMoke, where we don't just explain money. We change the way you think about it. Thank you for watching. If this video changed your perspective, share it with someone who's still chasing money instead of building wealth. And if you want to understand the modern economy, subscribe to NineMoke, because this is only the beginning. See you in the next episode.